Hey guys, how are you? Oh, hold on. Let me turn off this sound real quick. Oops. Hey guys. Sound. Okay, there we go. How are you? I hope you are having a fabulous Sunday. If you don't know who I am Tara with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. Super excited about today's chat. We'll dive into all the goods in just a bit. If you would like to learn a little bit more about me, go ahead and check out that information box down below. You can check out the website, kittensweightsandtarot.com. Maybe check out some magically handmade items over at Desert Cauldron on Etsy, and maybe looking for ways to help support the channel by being a Patreon member or YouTube member. But thank you for everybody who does help with this channel and all of my subscribers and all of you guys. You guys are amazeballs. Thank you. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into our tea. I thought of something a little bit more I don't know, tropical-ish tea-wise. So, okay, come down here with me. All right, so first of all, I've been trying to find some more of my more springy, like lighter looking mugs. And I thought I'd go with a tropical pu'er tea. So if you don't know what that is, it's an aged tea. It kind of comes in a brick that looks like this. Sometimes it's in a shaped brick, or it's circular, or sometimes it might even resemble a flower. But I'm actually just going to put a couple of tablespoons-ish of this brick tea, which is very potente, by the way. I think I've talked about pu'er tea before, where I wasn't aware of the steeping times of pu'er tea, and I let that thing steep for, I don't know, like half an hour. And when I had that boy, I was ready to go run 400 meters at like 10 o'clock at night. Okay, let's see. I'm just going to do a little bit. That should be good. All right, so not terribly too much. Actually, I might subtract a little because it's kind of a potent tea. So I don't want to have too much, actually. Okay, that might be okay. Plus, hey, we're going to need all the energy we can get because we're doing some powwow dance today, you guys. I'm so excited about that. I hope y'all have your dancing shoes on, or you know what? Better yet, go barefoot. Okay. Now, to make this a little bit more tropical. So first of all, so pu'er, it's very strong, very aged tea. I believe that tea is from like 1984 or 85, something like that. Close to my birth year. I guess that makes it not that old, right? Anyway, with it can have sometimes I don't know. I call it like a biting taste to it, and I want to soften some of that biting taste. So I'm going to get a little bit of coconut oil, or you could use shredded coconut if you want. But you know, I find that coconut oil is got some of that the good fats for us. So just a little, like a teaspoon of coconut oil. Plus, it adds that nice coconutty flavor. And I'm going to put just a touch of orange juice in there. Okay. And then a touch of guava. Guava. There we go. So we have that coconut, guava, orange mix. Okay, so now I'm going to put my little tea back in there. Let's fill this up. Like sure. Ooh, that's going to be a good tea. I can feel it. Okay. And I'm going to put that on top just to steep it a little bit. Okay, let me put these back in the fridge. I shall return. That's nice. Oh, okay. All right, I'm gonna put my coconut oil away. All right, so the acidity, the acidity in those juices, and but also the sweetness in them, I think is going to blend well with my puher. So I've actually not tried this mix before, so I'm experimenting with you guys. Oh, hey, Kath is here. What up, my friend? How are you? And Janine, hey, hey. Cass says, you're looking very pretty in your dress today. I'm in my PJs. Nice, nice. Well, PJs is probably where I'm about to be right after this chat. But thank you. I've just been so happy. I'm like, springtime, it's warming up here. Maybe a little too warm for this time of year, but you know what? It's in the upper 70s, or not upper 70s, upper 60s, like mid to like upper 60s, and it's nice. And I'm like, ooh, my little my little legs can come back out of my pants, new jeans, no heavy wool stuff. I'm like, I like when you could just like throw on a dress and not have to worry about coordinating anything else, Okay, let me put my puher back in my tea room. And yeah, dude, I can't wait for our dance tutorial. Like I said, go barefoot, be in your slippies, maybe your shoes, get outside or be inside. It's up to you. But yeah, we're gonna dance. We're gonna play some music, and we're gonna do some powwow. So. Oakley dokley. And rinse off my spoon here. All right. Excellent. Okay. I'm just going to stir my tea a little bit because there is coconut oil in there, and I just want to make sure it's all mixed up. Okie dokie. Ta-da! Ha! Okay, so, my goodness. So this live chat, very pivotal live chat, I will say. Janine says, your dress is really cute. It's 9 p.m. in the UK, and I'm feeling cold looking at you wearing it. I'm like, brr. Well, maybe I'll put on a coat later for you. So like I said, this is a very pivotal live chat. I've already spoken for the past several weeks about my new upcoming website and, things getting changed over, and just this, when you really feel something and you go with it, and, that I've had that feeling a couple of times in my life. And one of them I had mentioned before was like, just one day, it was just before New Year's 2021, or yeah, it's 2021. Yeah, New Year's 2021. And I was like, I just, in my head, I had always thought like, oh, I hope that, some opportunity pops up so that I could leave my career teaching and I could just like make a lateral move. And, and so I would wait and I would wait, and I would be so sad at the end of each school year, because it's not that I hated teaching, or that I disliked the students at all. It's quite the opposite. I really loved my athletes. I really loved my students. And when I got to teach like creative writing and have them like create stuff and get them published, and things. It was a lot of fun. But I just didn't like the curriculum. I didn't like the direction that I had seen over the course of my career, of where they were taking education and what I was meant to be implementing, for my students. I just, it wasn't my bag, So I I was like, well, I can't quit my job because, I have, there was a car payment, I was making, had a mortgage, I had, their cell phones, credit card, all of these things, insurance. And I'm like, well, and so I keep thinking, well, I can't just quit my job. Like, who just quits their job and like starts doing something else that they love? And so I thought I was just stuck. And so I was like, I can't do that. So I would just wait. And at the end of every school year, it would come and it would go, and then the next school year would begin. And I'm like, I'd be praying, and I'm like, why? Where is the opportunity? You're like, and I'm waiting for some opportunity to just like fall into my lap, because no opportunity was just falling into my lap. I thought that nobody was listening to me, and so I was very sad. And one day, like I said, it's like mid-school year because it's towards the end of 2021, and just like right upside the head, it was like whap, and it was like, why can't you just quit your job? And I was like, um that's a good question. It's like, do you know how many like jobs are out there that are already created and jobs that have yet to be created? Like, you could just, and I'm like, oh, yeah. And then it was just like this other whap of like, and you don't even particularly want to be in this state anymore. And I'm like, that's true. It was like, what about Arizona? I was like, what about Arizona? That's a good idea, self. Thank you. And it's not like that was the first time I had heard that. I had heard that at the end of the previous school year, 2020. And I was like, oh, I mean, I could, but I was just too scared. I was too scared to do something different because, it's what I'd been doing for like 14, 15 years. And it was like, I don't know what else to do, and what if I'm not good at anything? All the self-sabotage talk about, just trying to keep ourselves in things that we know. So my ego was like, nah, nah, nah. And yeah, I was like, and so I had felt like I wanted to go to Arizona. I felt like I wanted to quit my job, but wasn't sure how that would look, what I would do. But I mean, the seed had been planted. I just was too chicken at the time. And I remember at the end of that school year, it was, and this is 2020 I'm speaking about, the high school graduation was going on. And I always went to the graduation because I had freshmen, but I also had seniors. So I wanted to go see my seniors graduate. And I remember there was like a break in the graduation. And so I figured, oh, well, I'll just walk down the street and go use one of the gift cards the kids always give me every year for Christmas. They give me Starbucks gift cards, even though like Starbucks is not my thing, but it's a sweet thing. So I was like, so I would use their gift cards to go get my Frappuccino, my blended mocha Frappuccino. So I went down there to go get it. And I remember on the way, I looked down, and there was a red-tailed hawk feather, and that's like my bird. And if you were here in last week's live chat, we were talking about animal totems, and I said how my 3 totems was wolf, hawk, and horse. And so I remember seeing this feather. I was like, oh, whoa, this is a sign. So I picked it up. I kept walking, and then all of a sudden, like the whole sidewalk was covered in like red-tailed hawk feathers. So obviously there must have been some skirmish that was going on there with a red-tailed hawk, but its feathers were literally everywhere. Literally, I looked down and I was surrounded in feathers. And it was like, and in my brain, it was like, well, holy cow, this is a definite sign. And what I had been thinking was like, it was such a beautiful day. The sun was out. There was a gentle breeze. It was warm. It was like, in the upper 70s, and it was like absolute perfect day. And I was like, man, I wish that I could just take off today. Like, I wish I could just drive, just go and wherever I end up, that's where I'm going to end up. But, I didn't do that. I did another school year. And like I said, so then we come to, just before 2021, or at the end of 2021, the December 2020 to get into 2021. And I'm like, yeah, why don't I just go? Why don't I just leave my job? I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't even know where I'm going to live in Arizona, but I was like, I need to go. I was like, and it was just this, you can't make any other decision. Like, this is what we're doing right now. And it was like a force that was just so strong. And it was just like, and I had no fear about it. Like, you would think I would have had a fear about it. It was more, I felt bad because other people felt bad that I was making changes. Like, they were upset that I was making changes because they didn't like to make changes. And it's like, what are you doing? So I felt bad for that, but I did not feel bad for my decision that I was making, because it was like, I need to do this. And so that's what I did. I just packed up and left, and everything has turned out swimmingly since. And so here we are, with this channel that I've had since 2016. Oh my goodness. July 2016 is when I started this channel. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do with this channel. And I knew that I liked cats. I knew that I liked working out, and I knew that I liked doing readings for people. And I was like, kittens, weights, and tarot. And so, and that's what I've done. And, obviously things have changed. I no longer have my kitties with me. It doesn't mean I don't still love cats. Obviously I do. I love all animals. But, things have changed, and, we grow, we evolve. And so my channel is also growing and evolving to kind of flow with me. So it's not something that's just like abrupt. It's something that's been there. That seed was planted probably about 5, 6 or more years ago. That same feeling I had before, when I was like, I could go to Arizona and I could probably leave my job, but I just don't know about it yet. So that was my feeling before, when I was like, I know I want to change my channel. I want to do something different in how I serve people and connect with people and create community, but I just don't know what I want to do yet. Like, I know that it's there. So I waited and I waited. And then again, I don't know what it is about December, but December 2025, it was like, boom, you're going to be changing your channel now, and this is what you're going to be doing. And I'm like, all right then. So I have talked about the Savage Wild. So next Sunday, it'll be the very first live chat of the Savage Wild. And so I'm very excited about what I've already been doing, some of the things that, are going to be on the Savage Wild. But yeah, the website will change, all of my social media. I'm going to try to change it all at the same time. The name, the bio, all the stuff to reflect, this new journey. And I'm thankful for my subscribers and my patrons and the YouTube members, all my friends who are kind of just on this journey, and they're like, let's see where it goes. So thank you. All right, so let me look back here at your comments. I think my tea is pretty much finished steeping. We don't want that pooher to get too steeped, otherwise I'm gonna be powwow dancing my socks off, All right, let's get you like that. Okie dokie. Let's have a little taste. Tropical pooher. Oh my gosh. That is the tits. Okay, that is super good. So if you guys want to try that, I would say do it. Okay, let's see. Cass says, yes, layers back on for me. Going into autumn now. We'll miss the summer dresses. Oh, well. And then Lilith is here. She says, greetings, earthlings, greetings. Everybody's saying hello to each other. Lilith was wondering, did you ever get that reading? Which one? You might have to refresh my memory. And Janine was saying it was 21:12 on the clock. Hey. And Kath says, she was talking to Kath. So it says, I did Lilith, but she contradicted the other reading. I think she was picking up on my ex when she said third party and the devil card came up. I'm confused now. She said he'd be a burden. And Lilith says, I hate when that happens, but I'm happy you got your turn. Ah. And Lila says, you're welcome, Beauty. And Costalini says, it's already 87 in Texas. Glad to hear Arizona is cold because I'm excited to visit. Well, it's cooler in the mountains. I can't say the same for the valley. I've heard from my friends that live down in the valley, like down in the desert part of Arizona, that next week it's supposed to be 105. And I was like, ha ha ha, no, thank you. Which probably means it'll be 70 up here. But anyway, oh, okay. So Kath and Lilith were on another live stream. Got it. I was going, what? Did my brain just totally fart on something? Costalini's like, big rest in peace. Yeah. Yeah. Well, valley folk decided to live in the valley. I mean, so anyway, before we head out to the living room, so yes, I am super excited that next Sunday will be the first Sunday as the Savage Wild, and you'll be able to see it reflected in my Instagram. And I'm gonna try to. I've already got some things starting to change over, so I don't know. I'm just like. It's like, I don't know, like Christmas, my birthday, like all wrapped into one. I'm like, yay, I can't wait to share it with you guys. I can't wait for you guys to see. And by the way, when you guys see the website, when you guys see all the like the banners on social media and everything, I will have to thank my very special friend whenever she thinks it's okay that I out her on social media and I say it was her and and her artistic skills and her hours of like trying to make it beautiful, and so many thank yous to her who is in this chat. But if she wants me to say her name, I will. If not, I will keep her anonymous. But anyway, so yeah, Savage Wild, which means that this is the last live chat that I will do my one card readings. However, we will be doing some other things with creativity and with art. And there are many other ways for us to see into things without pulling cards and receiving energy. So I'm excited about it. Lilith says, never proceed to run and hide. Okay. I think you outed yourself. All right. Well, let's take our tea into the other room. Oh, and I have, I might as well bring our herb out, our herb for the week, but I don't have the dried version of the herb. It's in the refrigerator. So I kind of don't want to just leave it out, but I mean, it's not like you guys haven't seen that herb before. So we'll talk about it though. Lilith's like, welp. Okay. Well, since Lilith just like outed herself, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to my friend Lilith, who, man, you guys really have to give her like, I don't know, all the hand clapping emojis, all the raise the roof, because she has done a freaking amazing job on my website. I mean, the website that you guys see now for like Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, that was my lame attempt at making a website. And I didn't make anything. It was like, I don't know, the paint by numbers that, you're very limited to on some of these like platforms, that you can have your website on, your web host. And so I tried my best, to make Kittens, Weights, and Tarot look nice. But Lilith has like blown it out of the water. I'm just like, that is just freaking crazy. I love it. I love it so much. Yes, see, thank you, Lilith. Yeah, and then when you guys get to see some of the art that she's done for like the banner that you guys will see on Patreon, like when you go visit my Patreon page, like you don't have to be a patron to at least go visit the Patreon page and see kind of the things that we do. And so that's going to get revamped. It's going to get a little bit of facelift. There's already the new videos, the new welcome videos already up there, and the new thank you video for becoming a patron is already up there. The offerings are already there. They're the Savage Wild offerings. It still says kittens, weights, and tarot. So that stuff's going to get changed over. Everything for the YouTube channel. Yes. And then the offerings, my services, which will look different. I'll still have services. I'll still have offerings, but they're just going to look a little bit different, a little bit more wild, so to say, as they say. And Lilith wanted to help out with that too. I'm going to post the offerings, my services on Instagram, like I normally do, except this time it'll be for the Savage Wild. So big thank you to Lilith Phoenix. Thank you. But I'm definitely going to do some other things to say thank you. So I'm putting together some things for you if you don't mind. Lilith is like, we're so close. I know. I'm like, so fingers crossed. What we're hoping for you guys is launch on the spring equinox, on the changeover of season of all changes, also known as Astara, Ostre, spring, here in the Northern Hemisphere. I know other people are going to be falling into autumn. Falling into autumn. But here it's everything's blooming, and it totally, I feel like, reflects Savage Wild. So we're hoping for that. If it's not quite on the equinox, it's fine, because the equinox technically is like the 20th through the 23rd. So we have a little bit of time anyway. But yeah, so this is the last live chat. It's KWT, Kittens, Wheats, and Tarot. Okay. Let's take you guys into the other room. Shall we? We shall. Okay, first, I'm going to bring this down. I'm going to lower these. Hold on, just getting you guys prepped for the living room. I'm going to take this. Okay, come with me. Okay, Vader, you can come too. It's Vaderski. Okay. Yay. All right. And I'll be right back. I'm going to go get my tea. Let's go, Vader. Let's go. Let's go, Vader. Let's go. All right, I returneth. Okay, plug this in. Fabulous. Yes, we are plugged in. Okay. All right. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so I wanted to talk about this week's herb, since it is a pivotal week. And so I didn't try to use my ego whenever I pick these herbs. It's not like I'm like, what should be the herb of the week? I basically do a little bit of biblio, and I just kind of flip through my herbal books, and I'm like, what herb would like to work with us this week? And it was garlic. And I was surprised, because I don't use garlic in a whole lot of my concoctions. However, when it comes to dining, I do love some garlic. I could eat garlic cloves. I'm sure that makes me just wonderful to smooch, but I love garlic. I love a lot of garlic. I know that you can go overboard. What? Well, at least Riley would smooch that. Okay. Let's see. Lila says, speaking of which, can we touch base after the live? We sure can. Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't mind. The link still works. So yeah, let's do it. Huh? Yes, unless Riley and I are smooching, but we can do it after the live. Kath says, is that a little altar in the background? Thinking of setting one up, though not sure what to place on there other than crystals. And Lilith says, candles, incense. Think most try to include a little of all the elements. Yeah, I have my little altar here. I would say it's more of a reflection of the energy of the environment. So whenever I feel like, and it doesn't necessarily mean like a whole big seasonal change, although sometimes I kind of do a whole big seasonal change with my altar. But I just want it to be like a place of reflection, and just based on when I go outside, like what is the energy that I feel? And I've been feeling more of like things kind of coming to life, kind of coinciding with spring, seeing more of the chonky squirrels running around and the crazy little chipmunks, which actually I noticed a couple of live chats ago when I did the guided meditation outside. I didn't realize it at the time till I saw the replay, and I was like, oh, there was a chipmunk that had gotten closer and came up to listen to the flute playing for the live chat. I was like, what? That was so awesome. But yeah, as I see kind of a changeover in the animals and, what I'm feeling in terms of the elements and everything, it's all kind of reflected here. So it's like if I could take all of the forest and everything I feel about my outdoor experience at this moment, that's what I place up here. So usually, yeah. Oh, Alvin and Theodore. So Riley's sister says that Alvin and Theodore live out there, the two chipmunks. That's cute. um, so sometimes when I go out on my hikes, or just even around the property, and something like really catches my eye, and I'm like, ooh, like that I was meant to see this, I was meant to find this. If it's not too large, like usually if it's like a little feather, or it's a little stone that I find, or even just the way a twig has fallen on the ground, it's kind of special meaning to me. I try to put those up here until I feel it's time to make like a changeover. So it's kind of just a reflection of like different steps in my journey. I know everybody does their altars kind of differently. It's kind of a personal thing. So I guess if I were to look at it, it has most of the elements, with incense, other than making everything smell really nice. I am very particular about my incense. So I've chosen more floral incense because that's the energy that I'm feeling right now. But that would be representative of earth and air. And then of course we have a candle back there. So we have fire. I suppose if I had my bong up there, we'd have water, but instead I have a little bit of selenite, which does represent water. So anyway, so yeah, I guess I do have the elements up there. But yeah, for now, it's just like, this is how I feel right now. This is how I feel the forest energy. So I just kind of refreshed it. So I do have to start adding some more things as I am out and about and find really cool pine cones and, things like that. Maybe even a bone. Well, actually, you know what? Did find a bone the other day. It was a deer bone, another leg bone. And actually, I can't take credit for it. My friend's dog found it. And I was like, ooh, bone, thank you. I'll just take that. Dog's like, but it's kind of big. So I couldn't really, it would take up the whole little altar. But maybe if I find a smaller bone, I'll put it up there. So yeah, I mean, it's a reflection of you. I've always felt like we're the altar. Um, when I would go to, when I was younger, and I would go to Catholic mass, which was no funsies for me, except for the times when I would get to sing in the choir, then that was fun. But I realized that everything up there was representative of like what they were trying to do is, represent Jesus, with the altar, with the Eucharist, with, the wine and all of that. It was supposed to be representative of him. And so I was like, well, then we are also altars, right? And so we have basically all of the elements within us. And this is just kind of an external representation of what's going on inside here. And so obviously how I view the forest and how I view out there is just an external projection of what I'm feeling on the inside. So yeah, it really is just me in tangible form back there. Okay, so let's get into our herb for this week. So like I said, this just kind of like popped out there and I was like, all right, garlic. I wasn't expecting that, but let's learn a little bit about garlic and see how that relates to us for this upcoming week. Maybe you have garlic where you live. I know that garlic isn't like grown everywhere. So, and you're like, well, maybe I want to actually add it to a tea and see how that goes, garlic tea. I don't know. Maybe you want to incorporate it into your food. Maybe with things getting planted, seeds and whatnot, you want to maybe plant some garlic bulbs. Or maybe you just want to meditate with the energy, or maybe you want to get artistic and draw what you feel like the energy of garlic is. I don't know. That could be a lot of fun. Cass says, I second that vote. Yes. Okie dokie. Let's see. Okay, let's look at garlic here. I have a few different books, as you can see here, because I feel that we can't always get all of our information from like one herbal book. That's why I have so many different herbal books, because you have different herbally perspectives. Some authors are really focused on the scientificness. Some authors are talking about like the spiritualness of certain herbs. Other authors are like, let's talk about just the healing aspect of herbs. And, everybody's got their own thing. So I like to kind of get a lot of different points of view to try to get a more well-rounded perspective. Lila says, well, she read over the suggestion. Wait. Oh, I must have spoken so fast I forgot what the suggestion was. Let me see. Oh, I see. Sorry, I just now saw it. You vote for a weekly herb, crystal, and card. Well, we could definitely look at an herb and crystal. We could, let me ponder on that. Not using it for divination purposes, but for helping us, like healing purposes. So let me think on that. Okay. All right. So first thing is from the Encyclopedia of Herbal Medicine, and that is by Andrew Chevalier. And let's learn about what he has to say about garlic. So first of all, some wonderful pictures of garlic in its various states. Okay, it says, known for its pungent odor and taste, garlic is an ideal herbal medicine, being completely safe for home use and a powerful treatment for a host of health problems. Encounters many infections, including those of the nose, throat, and chest. It also reduces cholesterol, helps circulatory disorders, such as high blood pressure, and lowers blood sugar levels, making it a useful dietary addition in type 2 diabetes. Okay, habitat and cultivation, although I know that it would probably grow up here, but doesn't mean that it can be grown everywhere. So let's have a look-skis. This is originally from Central Asia. Garlic is now grown worldwide. It is grown by dividing the bulb and is harvested late the following summer. There was some place in Northern California I passed one time, and it just smelled of garlic. Like, oh, it was the most wonderful smell. And the people I was in the car with, they were like, "Bleh." I was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, roll the windows down, give me all that garlic. um, Lila says, gosh, I just love garlic. Can eat a whole head of it, no issues. Me too. Freaking high five. My friend in garlickiness. Um, okay, so let's see. Key constituents. I have been healed by my constituents. Okay, volatile oil. It has scordinins. It has selenium. It has vitamins A, B, C, and E. Almost the whole alphabet soup going on over there. Let's see some of its key actions. It's an antibiotic, expectorant. It increases sweating, lowers blood pressure, reduces blood clotting. It's anti-diabetic, and it expels worms. So if you got yourself some worms, have yourself some garlic. Okay, invaluable remedy. Over 1,000 research papers have published on the medicinal effects of garlic. They show that it helps normalize blood fat levels, to keep the blood thin and protect against blood clots, to lower raised blood pressure, to lower blood sugar levels, and has antibiotic properties. While it is understood that when the fresh clove is crushed, Allen, not Allen, a guy or something, but Allin, is broken down by allanase into allicin, which has strong antiseptic activity. Authorities still disagree on precisely how garlic achieves its medicinal effects. Magic. Nevertheless, research indicates that it is best to crush garlic cloves and then wait 10 minutes before using it in food or as a medicine. This allows sufficient time for allicin to form. Wow, Alan and Allison. Who are these people? Anyway, okay, so let me look in one of the other books. I want to get another point of view. Here we are, Making Plant Medicine by Rico Ketch. Rico Suave. Okay, so garlic, which is in the family of lily. Okay, parts used. The cloves are fall planted, and the bulbs are harvested when mature, usually in midsummer or fall when the ground is dry. The bulbs are broken apart to reveal the cloves, which are used fresh or cooked. Okay, let's see. What do they have to say about this? Here's some contraindications. Nursing mothers should know that the garlic goes through the milk and is sometimes responsible for causing gastric upset in nursing babies. The odor of garlic will pervade the breath and the skin. High dosage of raw garlic or garlic tincture may cause gastrointestinal disturbance, nausea, and sometimes vomiting in predisposed individuals. Administering garlic tincture in milk as opposed to water will provide an emollient effect that subdues side effects. So just a little FYI. All right. Let's see. If you are going to do direct consumption, raw versus cooked garlic have different but somewhat overlapping effects. I, as in Rico Ketch, or Rico Suave over there, I generally recommend raw garlic for treating bacterial infections. Cooked garlic has a more deep-seated digestive and immune-enhancing effect. The cooked garlic is also preventative of arteriosclerosis, hardening of the arterial walls, and is used to help prevent and cure heart disease and many types of cancer. Good to know. Also, one more thing, practical use. Consuming garlic helps in the digestion of fats by increasing secretion of bile. The herb deeply affects the blood and the circulation, demonstrating fibrillinic or blood thinning, anti-tumor, and anti-blood cholesterol activity. The raw cloves, garlic oil, and tincture contain thiosulfonate compounds that exhibit marked antibacterial effects. Interesting. All right. Okay. So let's see. Let me just go back here. Oh yeah, Lilith says, no one will come near us ever again. We'll just be like, Who wants my garlic talk? Costalini says, do you think GMO garlic is kind of useless? Ugh, I don't know. I don't like genetically modified anything. I mean, nature sometimes does its own modification, what with, bees pollinating from flower to flower. But um, I don't know. I would think that anything that has been modified in a way that we feel egoically makes us feel better. It might change its properties a little bit. So I don't know. I might try to stay away from the GMO version, but if not, I would say that there probably is still some good in there. But just on a side note, I've noticed with like some of the like GMO fruits and veggies and things like that, people have noticed like watermelons. There's a lot more seedless watermelons. That there's a lot of more things without their seeds, and so basically, it's like selling these like sterile like fruits and veggies and whatnot, and not being able to produce them again. So, and there's so much. Nutrients, like certain vitamins and things that are contained within seeds, that help things out. So that's just like one example of like modification. But I would say there's still some benefit, but I would have to like be a scientist to like really study like what the alterations have done to some of those benefits. Costalina says, I have one of those jars of minced garlic from Costco. Oh, I do too. I mean, we can get like, little jars here in our town store, but, sometimes, like I said, I like a lot of garlic. So, I mean, it might be modified, but some of it, because I have used some of the minced garlic from Costco, and I have felt like some of the medicinal use once it's cooked, kind of like what Mr. Rico Ketch was just talking about, the raw versus cooked. I do eat it in its cooked version, and I have felt how I was using it medicinally in my cooked food, like it was working in that way. So, if the minced garlic at Costco has been modified, I feel like it still retains some of its benefits. At least that's how my body was feeling it. So, um, as Costalina says, and it just feels different energetically. That's true. Lilith is like harlic. Yes, harlic. Hund Wanderer says, I use garlic chewables against fleas and ticks with my dogs. Oh, well, this is why I smell the odor. I'm like, garlic. Who's making Italian? Liz says, we don't have harlic here, but I'm guessing the preservatives for it are a big no-no, but you preserve garlic yourself, covering it with olive oil or freezing pucks or freezing pucks in the freezer. So yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on the preservation methods. It's like, yeah, if you're preserving it with olive oil or, you're saying, I mean, I don't think there's any harm in that, preserving it with like, Hundewander and I were just talking about the different color additives and things like, that yellow number 5 just tastes amazing. Yeah. If you're like preserving it in yellow, green, blue, 5, 52, 31, I mean, then we might have Houston, we have a problem. Lilith says, wondering if sterilizing what we eat makes us sterile too. What do they say? You are what you eat. Oh, I hate to think that. I don't know. I mean, there is something that has to be going on, and maybe it's not just our food. It must be a culmination of everything, like spiritual, energetic, the physical, environment and what we take in. But yeah, I was just out of curiosities. I was looking on the internet at birth rates and how that they just like over the years been declining, like, and that's just rather interesting to me. And then I decided to look at, well, since like the year the birth control pill was introduced, which was before my time, but obviously the birth rates had gone down because of the use of birth control. But then I wanted to look at the studies of what about people who got off birth control, let's say in their 30s or maybe even their late 20s, and they wanted to start a family. Like what does the birth rate look like then? And you could look all over the internet, and the internet says, oh, birth control, it's like the very first sentence has absolutely no effect on fertility, has absolutely no effect on fertility. Like literally first sentence, every website, first like 5 pages in Google, like every website, that's the first sentence I saw, like has no effect on fertility, has no effect on fertility. And then you go down further and you have all these women that are like, I was on the pill and, and now I'm in my late 20s or I'm in my 30s and I'm absolutely sterile. Even though it's like, oh, but all studies say that 80% of women get their fertility back. I was like, really? Because that's not what I'm seeing of like actual people, speaking about it. And so there is some sterility going on, and it's not just women. Men are also feeling it too. And the in vitro fertilization group like that has just like skyrocketed. That's like a billions and billions of dollar like business every year. So something is afoot, and it could be our food, it could be what we're getting sprayed with, it could be poisoning our minds with everything coming out of the news and blah blah blah, and it could be spiritual poisoning, energetic poisoning. So I don't know, but maybe it's all culminating into we just break free into new earth and all that crap just goes away. Costolini said safe and effective. Oh yes. Everywhere I looked, I was like, really? Come on, man. Safe and effective. 80% come right back. You should totally be on it. It says, but if you notice that you're having trouble with regaining regularity after you get off contraception, you should totally get back on contraception. I'm like, what? Safe and effective. Talk to your doctor. Anyway, okay. Garlic is just bringing up so much for us. Thank you, garlic. I'm digging it. Okay, this next bit of garlic info comes from a secondhand book that apparently came from somebody's library. It says kitchen medicine, household remedies for common ailments and domestic emergencies. In case you're ever getting domesticated. Okay. This is by Julie Breton Seal and Matthew Seal. Oh, okay, so that is the front of the book. And here we go. Garlicky goodness. Okay, let's see. What do I want to read from here? I'm going to try not to like read some of the same stuff. Did you know there are over 700 species in the onion genus, many of them used for food and medicine. These include onion, chives, Asian onion, and leeks, all part of garlic. Oh, well, that's good to know. Let's see. Garlic has been a food and medicine for thousands of years. Many prescriptions of the ancient Egyptians included garlic for treatment of ailments from infections to physical weakness. Konom Kufof, builder of one of the oldest pyramids in 4500 BC, gave all his laborers a clove of garlic each morning to keep up their strength and health. Wow. That must have been a great smelling group. I mean, I wouldn't have minded, but the ancient Greeks used it freely, and athletes at the Olympic Games ate garlic to enhance their performance. That I have heard of, because do you want to know something that's really dumb? That is really dumb. When I was an NC2A athlete, I ran for Long Beach State. I was, in track and field, and they give you a whole list of things that are on the banned substance list. Did you know garlic was on there? And we were like, like it says, because they would do random drug testing. And if you tested positive for any of it was like 200 items that were on this, like you can't have this list. And it was like, you couldn't take ADHD medication. You couldn't be on cancer drugs if you were going to be an athlete. You couldn't eat garlic. You couldn't drink soda. You couldn't drink coffee. You can't drink tea, anything with caffeine. You couldn't be eating too much chocolate because that also has caffeine. It was like all these things that could enhance your performance. But yeah, I saw garlic. I was like, what the deuce? But yeah, among a host of all the other things that you're not allowed to do, you can't, be smoking. You can't have, you can't have, it was a lot. And a lot of people were on certain medications. Like some people, there was one person who had a heart medication. There was somebody who was on Ritalin because they had ADHD. And they were like, well, you got to choose. Do you want to be on your medication or do you want to be an athlete? And it was like, what? It was just really dumb. Okay. Anyway, back to the Olympic Games and garlic. The Romans gave it to both soldiers and workmen. Garlic was by no means limited to Europe, however. Ayurvedic physicians in India prescribed it for rheumatism and to prevent heart disease. And in Japan and China from ancient times, it was a remedy for high blood pressure. The English garlic is reputably from the Anglo-Saxon. Is from the Anglo-Saxon for spear plant, perhaps referring to the shape of its leaves or garlic being soldier fare. Culpeper said garlic was ruled by Mars, god of war. We all know that garlic protects us against vampires. In many cultures, from old Asia to old Europe, garlic has been used to ward off the evil eye, witches, sorcerers, spells, and evil spirits. Physically, it still strengthens our defenses against a wide range of evil influences, from infections and poisons to high blood pressure and the risk of stroke and heart attack. Like other powerful herbs, garlic has a mixed reputation. Its sulfurous smell had associations with the devil. In England and other places where garlic has not been much a part of traditional cooking, the odor on the breath is considered offensive. Not to me. Neither of us had fresh garlic until we were in our 20s, us as in the writers of this book. Garlic salt was the only form you could buy. In India, yogis, Orthodox Hindus, and Jains reject onions or garlic in their food as too stimulating, saying they root the consciousness more firmly in the body and interfere with meditation. On the other hand, garlic is much enjoyed elsewhere in sauces such as scorthalia in Greece, guacamole in Mexico, hummus in the Middle East, pesto in Italy, aioli in Spain and France. We grow some as perennial clumps and harvest the green tops every spring. They are among our earliest spring greens and provide a milder garlic flavor than the bulbs. Let's see if there's anything else. Oh, FYI, some other cool info. Garlic was used in both the First and Second World Wars to treat battle wounds, preventing sepsis and gangrene. Garlic is effective against both gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria, while having the enviable quality of being harmless to our normal beneficial gut bacteria. This is unlike modern broad-spectrum antibiotics, which wipe everything out. Garlic is known to be effective against fungal, parasitic, and viral infections. Wow, so all kinds of stuff. And that we can say safe and effective. Just call me Doctor of the Forest over here. All right. Lastly, I want to take a look at Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs. And this is more of a spiritual perspective of garlic. Okay. So it says garlic was eaten on festival days to Hecate and was left at crossroads as a sacrifice in her name. Garlic was once worn to guard against the plague. It is still used to absorb diseases. Simply rub fresh peeled cloves of garlic onto the afflicted part of the body, then throw into running water. An old spell utilized garlic in protecting against hepatitis. To do this, simply wear 13 cloves of garlic at the end of a cord around the neck for 13 days. On the last day, in the middle of the night, walk to a corner of an intersection of two streets, remove the necklace, throw it behind you, and run home without looking back. Let's see. It says garlic is also extremely protective. Sailors carry some while on board ship to protect against its wreckage. You know, I actually heard that from my Uncle Fred. He's passed away now, but they called him Captain Fred because he was a merchant marine and he was captain. So he was Captain Fred. And I remember him saying something about that when uh, my aunt had some like garlic cloves laying out, and I asked if I could eat one, and they're like, "You're just going to eat a garlic clove?" And I'm like, yes. And they're like, well, let's actually like mash it up and put it in something. And I'm like, I could just eat the clove, you know. And he was like, he says, we used to make sure that somewhere on the ship there was a bulb of garlic. And they said he felt like it was just a sailor's tradition to like make sure that the ship would never sink or become injured while they were off on their voyage. And I was like, that's interesting. It says soldiers wore garlic as a defense in the Middle Ages. Was it a smelly defense? While Roman soldiers ate it to give them courage. It is placed in the home to guard against the intrusion of evil, to keep out robbers and thieves, and is hung over the door to repel envious people. Garlic is especially protective in new homes. All right. Okay, so there we go. Garlic. So, I mean, obviously, it has a host of ways that it helps our body. And yes, it does have a very pungent smell to it. And when you do grow garlic in your garden, because I have been around people who've had garlic in their garden, I did notice that it kept out certain pests from the garden. So it was hence protecting, the rest of the plants that were being grown there. It's a very protective herb. So thinking of it's like protection, but also medicinal. It's very good with boundaries, obviously. Very strict boundaries, very solid, very olfactory boundaries. But yeah, so think about that and how you could use that to apply it to this upcoming week of really taking a look at, all the ways that it says that it helps, our health. And, it said it helped to basically, you know, not take away what we already had. It just gives a little bit extra, like when they were talking about antibiotics, how like modern antibiotics totally wipes out our gut flora. That's why a lot of people have to take probiotics after they have taken antibiotics, because you could get sick from the lack of gut flora that you now have. So people were taking it, because they had some sort of bacterial infection. And then now we want to prevent getting sick. So now we got to take probiotics. But with garlic, you wouldn't have to do that. So it comes in to be beneficial without taking in order to do so, without destroying its host, basically, in order to do so. So basically, it's showing this beautiful balance of give and take, how we can heal. And in order to do so, it doesn't mean we need to destroy, but we can have a beautiful balance in doing that. And it said that it was also connected to our blood pressure. So think of that, when people say like my blood pressure is so high, right now, that it's usually when there's too much of something, creating that high blood pressure. And so if we're feeling like things have been too much in our life, in what way can we look at what the root cause is of that, so that we can look at it, find what boundaries need to go up, perhaps, maybe what things need to be rebalanced. Yeah, I feel like garlic could really help us with that. All right. So let's go back and have some tea here. And I don't know if you guys are ready. Go do some powwow. Okay, so what I'm going to do first. Okay, let's go in order here. All right. First, let me put my books back. Okay. First, before we get into any powwow dancing, I just want to say I love you guys. And thank you for being here, not just in the live chat today, but for being with me on this journey. So thank you to my subscribers. The what? I love you. So thank you to my Riley. And thank you to everybody who's in the chat with us today, everybody who watches the replay, all of my subscribers, everybody who's just been such a wonderful support. Thank you to Lilith Phoenix. Thank you to my YouTube members. By the way, you know them, they have the little colored kitty head next to their name. Ooh, maybe for my YouTube members. And Costalini, since you are one of my members and you have your cute little kitty head next to your name, what if we put like a wolf or something foresty, like to change the symbol up a little bit? I'm just putting it out there. But anyway, thank you to people like Costalini and Duality Tale and Cinnamon Girl 8611, Jonathan Cleese, and Nancy from A Crone's Intuition. Thank you mwah, for being a YouTube member. And thank you to my lovely patrons who've already been receiving like the new offerings of the Savage Wild, and their feedback has just been amazeballs. So thank you guys so much. You know who you are. Linda and Aaron and Casey Gritter, Oz, Palu, Brandy, Brian, Lily, Crystal, Easy Does It, Dana, and Ashley. So thank you. And all the mighty moderators, like one of the moderators who just popped in, Heather from Venetian Goddess. Thank you for everything. Costalini says, I'd love a wolf. It's settled then. Let's do it. I am excited for this. So I'll work on that. Ooh, that'll be fun. All the little things that I get to change, like maybe some of the tier names for the YouTube members. I've already changed it on Patreon, so I could look at something cool and Savage Wildy for my YouTube members. Maybe a little wolf head next to it. Oh my gosh, the ideas. This is going to be amazeballs. Nation Goddess said, hope all is well. All is well, my friend. Thank you. And Lewis says, could be a leaf, wolf, star, depending on the tier. Yeah. Oh, yes. I love this. Oh my gosh. This is so fun. I'm having so much fun. Okay, so we are going to head outside, and I'm going to bump some music, some powwow music. Like I said, you could be barefoot, you could have your dancing shoes on, you could be in your PJs right now, or maybe you're just outside and want to frolic out in the sunshine and listen to some of this powwow music. But I'm going to show you just a few simple like powwow dance moves, and maybe you can incorporate it into your fun like dancing that you do. Let the spirit move you, you know. But I had to write down some of the dance names because I actually didn't know the names of them. I just know what they are. I mean, some of the names I did know, and then I didn't want to get carried away and try to do so many dances out there because I've been working out really hard this past week and my hips are really sore. And I was like, yeah, I also don't want to collapse out of exhaustion in the middle of the live chat, just be like, ugh. So, oh yeah, a moon too, for sure. And Venetian Goddess said, grateful for you too. And by the way, I haven't forgotten. We still want to go on our road trip, but we haven't heard back from our friend in Washington. But when we do, we're going to be able to go on that road trip to see all our friends. So I'm super excited about it. Lila says, working out, she calls it. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to bring this with me. Bring the music with me, and then I'm going to come back in here, and we'll do the last of our one card readings for As Kittens Waits in Tarot. And then I'll take you guys outside because I mean it is nice-ish out there. I mean the sun is kind of going away, I guess, but we could do our meditation out there. We'll see. Okay, let's have some tea. Heather says, I am stoked. I am so stoked. We still need to get our truck fixed, but that's good because I guess our friend in Washington isn't really ready to receive us. So, you know, we'll get the truck fixed. We have a trip to Moab coming up. And then hopefully, you know, maybe our friend in Washington will give us a call, and then we could go on that big fun road trip to some of those states I've never visited before. And see all our friends. That is good. I'll have to remember that recipe. Pu'er tea and juices. Good stuff. And coconut oil. I was going to say coconut milk. I guess you could use coconut milk. Okay. Let's put our chapstick on. I'm going to put my boots on. Costalini says, oh, there's the sink. I am booking a trip to Washington right now. Dude, it's like we're riding the same like energetic wave. You're always in synchronicity with me. Well, basically everybody in the chat. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I won't be able to see your comments while I'm dancing, just so you know. But when I come back in here, I'll read your comments. Okay, so here we go. If anybody has anything else to say, forever hold your peace. Not forever, maybe like 10 minutes. And then we'll be back in here. Okay, so I'm gonna put my dancing boots on. Okay. Ooh, I'm a little nervous. People are gonna be watching me do my shawl dance and my jingle dance and my 4 quarters dance. Costalini says DC, but like I'll be sharing something and then you'll say the word and I'll be like, what? I mean, that's how it always goes. Okay, so let me just make sure. All right, I know how to do that. I know how to, all right. Just making sure I know how to use this cell phone. This is actually Riley's cell phone. So, okay. I could probably come back in here and drink my water. Probably don't need to bring my water out there. All right, you guys, you're coming with me. Let's go dance. I'm so excited. All right, we're good. Let's actually go out this door. Oh, guess who wants to come? Mr. Vadersky. Okay. Do, 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 do. All right, 'tis a little breezy out here. All right, let me set up our camera. It was such a bright blue sky, but oh my goodness, look what they're doing up there. Making those ugly trails that have taken away my sunshine. You steal my sunshine. Okay. I'm going to set this up like this because really what you want to see is my feet moving. So I'm going to show you the footwork first, and then I will lift the tripod up so that you can see what the full dance looks like. Okay, so let me just make this a little taller. And a little taller back here. Okay. All right, you guys had a growth spurt. Okay. All right. Let me turn on the speaker. I'll be right back, you guys. Let me just get set up here. Do, do, do. You know what? I could put the speaker here. Yeah, and we could hear it just fine. All right.
Power on.
Power on.
Bluetooth pairing. Bluetooth connected.
Okay. Okay, patio singer. Let's see. I think it's connected to the computer inside. We are having technical difficulties. All right, somebody needs to disconnect their Bluetooth. Okay.
Power off.
Okay. So Riley, if you can hear me, you have to disconnect Patio Singer from the Bluetooth because it's connecting to the computer.
Power on. Bluetooth pairing. Bluetooth connected.
Hmm. Huh? Okay, well, it's connected to the computer right now. It's connected to the computer. It can't connect to your phone. Yeah, it won't connect to your phone. It's connected to your computer. Yeah. um Don't worry, guys. We'll get this figured out. Oh, wow.
Bluetooth connected.
Okay, now we're connected to the phone. All righty. Yeah, me too. I heard it here. Yeah, it's connected now. Yeah, I just want my feet right now. Okay. 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 All right. I'm just gonna put this phone right here. How do we do the volume on this phone? I don't know if you guys can hear that. Okay, I'm pointing it down so you guys will be able to see my feet. Let me turn it up a little bit more. All right, hopefully you guys can hear it okay. Okay. All right. So just looking at my notes. So this is kind of an easy move. Huh? Oh. Hear it now? The what? I don't know how to fix it. Let me see. Maybe I could hop out real quick and see if I can fix my sound. Okay. if anything can be heard. Okay, can you guys hear anything now? So just doing a sound test.
Phone coming out. Get back.
Oh. So it's not on Wi-Fi?
Come on, what's going on? Let's start. Oh. When you're the wind blowing right down the corner of the house, I couldn't hear you. You couldn't hear me either. I'm talking loud.
I could barely hear you.
Okay, so
Says I'm on Wi-Fi.
well, let me see it.
Okay, really? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean?
Disconnect from this. Leave and come back.
Oh, I did. Okay, can you hear me now?
You're still not showing up. I don't know what's going on. You got no picture.
But I can see myself on the laptop. It's streaming on the internet right now. I see myself on the internet.
The laptop?
No, it's here in the house.
Let me leave and come back.
Okay. Let
Maybe I need to.
me check the volume here.
I don't know what. I can't even leave. The.
Let me check
Well, maybe it's me. Disconnect.
sound.
Yeah.
Let me check. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, just check the sound. You can hear me on the internet.
Really? Yeah. They're always doing that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I got disconnected because when we turn something on,
Mhm.
when you turn the speaker on, I had moved it. I thought it must have just disconnected, but it popped up and it was connected to the speaker, and that's when I started playing music. And then I disconnected. So apparently that's I just leave. I leave. I never left. Yeah. This is crazy. I didn't go back in.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, guys. We're just having some technical difficulties, always with freaking technology, right? Well, then it was you that was disconnected.
So, disconnected me.
Okay.
It's so windy out there. It's so weird.
I hope so. I'll put my microphone back on. Yeah. Okay, well, I'll try my best.
So now you got the phone connected, you got G connected.
Okay, so we're going to try this again. We're going back outside. We're going to try dancing again. All right. Okay, have my microphone on. I know it's kind of windy. Hopefully you guys will be able to hear me as I try to express what these moves are. Technology, am I right? I'm just going to freaking go back to smoke signals. I'm going to go embrace my people. We're going back to smoke signals. Okay, I would like the driest part here. Okay, I just need the ground a little bit more dry, like this. Okay, so let me turn the music back on and let's see if you guys can hear it.
Pardon me.
Power on.
Okay,
Power on. Bluetooth down. Bluetooth connected.
can you hear it? You can, okay. Okay. Okay, you guys. So let me point the camera down just so you see my legs. So this one is called Fancy Bustle. It's very easy to do. I've tried to pick some of the more easy moves. So it's just knee up. So you see like knee and elbow. So knee up. And you kind of want to go with the rhythm of the beat. So up, up. It is like you're doing exercise, right? Up, up. But right now the beat is real low. Move it over. Okay. There we go. Okay. So Fancy Bustle. So you want to make sure that the drum beat matches your feet. So can you hear the drum? Da 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 da. Okay, so you guys have that. Then we have what's called Fancy Shawl. Okay, Fancy Shawl. There's just a kick. So kick, 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 kick. And again, you want to go with the beat of the music. Okay, so otherwise it's just kick, kick, kick. And you can get a little fancy with it. This next one is called grass. So 1, 2 steps forward, 1, 2 steps back, 1, 2 step forward, 1, 2 step back. So it's just step, 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 step. And you just get into it. Feel the beat. It's the heartbeat of Mama Gaia. That's what the drum is. Okay. This next one is for the jingle dance. And also very easy, 2 feet together and hop. Okay. There we go. Music's playing again. So again, it's just going to be 2-foot hop, but you go to the beat of the drum. So bump, 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 bump. Pretty easy. They call it jingle dance because you have a lot of jingles on your costume, on your wear. And it makes a beautiful noise when you're dancing. And they say it helps to keep evil spirits at bay, much like garlic. There's a variation if you want to get fancy with your jingle dance, and that is take a step behind, step behind, step behind. Okay? So it's just with a bounce, step behind. And then you can go forward if you want. Okay. Those are pretty much the basics. Now I'm going to get a little bit more fancy. So this one is called 4 corners. Okay. So think of the 4 directions, 4 corners of the earth. And that's what your feet are going to do. So let's look at my feet. Okay. 4 corners. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's 4 corners. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and you can get fancy with your 4 corners. There we go. So and you could have some things that you're spinning in your hands. So 4 corners. Okay. Fancy shawl. Whew. It's a workout, you guys. Okay. Fancy shawl. Let me show you the footwork. So you're going to be spinning. Okay. You're going to go step, 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 step. Okay, let me get further back. Step, 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 spin, step, step. Let me show you what that looks like. So okay, maybe I should point it more this way. Whew, have more room. Okay, here we go. So spinning, you want to make sure that the arm and leg follow each other. So arm up, leg up, arm up, leg up. Okay? And basically don't get dizzy. But that's a very basic spinning shawl move for a fancy shawl. Okay. You could also do something where you just tap the 2 fronts in front of you. So 1, 2, 1, 2. You just go back and forth. Again, feel the rhythm of the music. And then switch it up. 1, 2. Okay. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Also a variation of fancy shawl. Whew. You could tap. This is a good workout, you guys. I'm glad I had a big burrito earlier. Okay. So do the same, but tap the back. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. One, two, 1, 2. Okay. Then you could tap 2 in the front, 1 in the back. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 3. 3. Okay. Here we go. And doing it in a V shape. So you're actually going to go on your heel. Okay. So heel. Sorry. Heel. Toe. Heel. Toe. Okay. You're making kind of a V in front of you. So heel. Toe. Heel. Toe. Heel. Toe. Heel. Toe. And that's another version of fancy shawl. If you didn't want to touch the ground and you have really strong legs, you can do it in the air. Whew. All right, we're gonna do one more. This has been like the most workout I've got during the live chat. Okay, here we go. All right, so this next one takes a little bit more energy. Actually, these next 2. And these will be the last 2, all right? Whew. Let me just catch my breather. Let me put this piece of paper down. Okay, hands are free. Whew. Catch my breath. Luckily, the beat is slow. Sometimes the powwow beat can get real crazy and you're just like going with the spirit, you know? Let the great spirit move you. All right. So we learned we could tap, we could do 4 corners, you know, you could do a V, but we could do something called crisscross. So not the group crisscross, this is not 1992, but cross your legs in front of each other, hop it out, cross the other way, hop it out. So cross, hop, cross, hop. Okay, so And you could get fancy. Okay. Whew. That takes some energy. Okay. Last one. Let me just build up for it. Okay. All right, this next one, you might have to look at my feet first. Okay. We're gonna go 1, 2, 1, 2. So start over. 1, 1, and then heel, side tap. So go on your toes on the side. Okay, let's try it again. Out, in, out, in. Heel, side toe. Heel, side toe. Out, out, heel, heel. So out, in, and you can do any variation you want, but basically it's out, in, heel, toe, out, in, heel, toe. And then next we cross over. Your leg goes over. Keep your legs stiff. All right, let's try it. And that's all a variation of fancy shawl, by the way. So out, in, out, in.
Oh, no.
All right, you guys. We did it. We'll put this on pause. Woo! Oops, there goes my little paper. Come back, little paper. Okay, let's go back in. Whew. That was some good stuff. Let me put this tripod down a scooch. I'm going to turn this off.
Bluetooth disconnected. Bluetooth pairing.
Come on, speaker, turn this
Power
off.
off.
There we go. That is what we are looking for. Powering off. All right. Time to get some water. Oh. Good times. Oh, Elvador is waiting for us. It's time for a water break. Okay. Okay. That was fun. Hopefully you guys learned something. So it's rather, I mean, like I said, you could get real fancy with the steps, but those are basic, like fancy shawl, fancy bustle, and jingle moves, which are kind of the main show dances at a powwow. Okay, let me take my boots off and have some Herbal. Okay, stay hydrated, my friends. Okay. All right. So this week, I've been doing a lot of working out and dancing. My hips are sore. It feels so good though. Like it's just like so freeing. Like when you feel the beat of a drum and like your foot hits the earth on that downbeat, just it's like the connection to everything is amazing, especially with fancy shawl. and you're feeling like a bird flying in the sky. I think Fancy Shawl is my favorite. Let's see. Cass says, I'm so unco. Lila says, that's Kiwi slang for unincorporated according to Google. Oh, really? Cass says, Kiwi term adopted by Aussies. And she said, thanks for translation, Lilith and Google. So yeah, like I said, I hope you guys found it helpful. Like I said, you could do this in your house, you could do this outside, you could do it in your backyard, or out in the forest, the park, whatevs, and just get your dance on. So whatever your normal dance moves are, see if you can incorporate some of that foot movement. Okay, so I'm just taking off my socks. I have to let my heart slow down. Sometimes when I bounce too fast, like I get too crazy too fast, my heart skips because I got those little PVCs. So it's a little skipped at the moment. I'm just trying to get back into a normal beat, hence why I sound out of breath. So I'm not like super out of breath because of dancing, a little out of breath because my heart's skipping. So give me just a second. Cass says my dancing was scaring my cat. Well, tell your cat to join in. Like, don't run away, bro. Like, come on. Okay. I am thinking after we do our 1-card polls, we might have to do the guided meditation in here just because it is rather windy out there and don't want you guys to hear only like during the meditation. So yeah, I guess we could do it in here. All right. So on that note, if you guys are ready for the final 1-card polls for our Kittens, Weights, and Tarot live chat, for Kittens, Weights, and Tarot in general, then yeah, now is the time. Let me show you the decks that I have for today's chat. I was kind of going kind of earthy. We have the Desert Illuminations Tarot because it's very, I think the creator is from New Mexico, but it's got elements of like Arizona and New Mexico. So I really like this deck. And Vision Quest. I have the Sacred Medicine Oracle. I have Earth Power Oracle. Again, all the earthy, decks. And then of course, my 2 decks, ending on that during this journey from 2016 to today, 10 years. The 2 decks that I created during that time. I mean, there was a couple personal decks that I made, but those aren't for like, I wouldn't be able to sell those. There's copyrighted images in there. But these 2 I do have. And that's Wally's World. And that was my cat Wally. And the Victorian Flowers Oracle. Okay. Let's see. Lilith says, Crystal of the Week, potentially Card of the Week. Sure. For this one last go, let's do it. And then Janine says, oh my gosh, those decks all look ace. Well, thank you. I thought I'd bring out some really good ones for you guys. Okay, let's do, what crystal would I feel for this upcoming week? We already have garlic. Let me just meditate on it for a second. I'm going with Tiger's Eye, and I think I have my Tiger's Eye here. Oh, good. My heart finally went back into normal rhythmia. Okay, let's see. Nope, you are not Tiger's Eye. Here we are. Yes. Okay, so I have, bunches of different Tiger's Eye, but I have red Tiger's Eye. I have blue tiger's eye. I have, where's my regular tiger's eye? Hola, ¿dónde? Okay, and then regular tiger's eye. And how it gets that beautiful sheen is from feldspar. Feldspar. It is in the feldspar family. It gives it that kind of fourth, fifth dimensional look to it. But yeah, I am feeling tiger's eye. Tiger's eye is very, very grounding. I feel it is very protective. It brings you back to planet Earth. So if you feel like you're off into the ethers and I'm having trouble like focusing and, taking in all the things, I feel like tiger's eye brings you right back to the soil, to the earth, to the present moment, and helps to clarify that focus, wherever that focus may be. So, I'm feeling the blue tiger's eye, actually, mostly. So I'm going to put that up here. And that blue is representative not only of the throat chakra, but also of the third eye. So clarity of voice, clarity of sight. Okay, let's put these Christies back up. And let's do, our final week card pull. Let's use Wally's World and my Victorian Flowers. I mean, those are the two decks I created in this past decade. And I'm very proud of them. And they will still be on the website for sale, if you guys are interested. But let's see what Wally has to say. And then, yes, Janine, I'd be so happy to pull a card for you. And Janine says, I love tiger's eye. I have a huge Merkaba in it. Ooh. And Cass says, I wear it daily. Also in the same bracelet is black obsidian and pyrite. I have kyanite and citrine on also. Ooh, oh my gosh. Like all the super like high vibe, sunny yet protective energies. Also a whole lot of solar plexus going on there. I like it. Okay. From Wally's World, Wally, in this 10-year journey, and also for this upcoming week, any message you would like to leave with us as we close out this beautiful chapter, which I'm so freaking grateful for. I didn't know where it was going to go, kittens, weights, and tarot, and I remember when I was like trying to come up with a name and I was kind of coming up with all these really weird names. And all the people I've gotten to meet along the way, all the places I've gotten to go, and just things I've gotten to try. And I don't know if there's an adjective that could explain all of that. So, well, maybe Wally will be able to help us out. And by the way, with this deck, is community based. So basically, people from my live chats and people that knew me, they sent these pictures to me. A lot of them are my pictures. And it's funny that this is the bottom card. This is the last card in the deck. This is card number 64. This was my house in Spring Valley. That's my truck right there. And Wally isn't in every card in the deck. There are 2 cards that don't have Wally in it. They have 2 cats that have crossed the rainbow bridge. And this final card is actually my cat Presley that crossed over the rainbow bridge. And I felt like he would be great for that final card because he was a symbol that every healing journey, no matter how far and wide it takes you, and even if you went clear across the globe or across the galaxy, that in healing, you always find your way home. You find your way back to yourself. That sometimes we feel like, maybe that is the message, that we find maybe at the beginning of a healing journey that there's all these things I have to fix about myself. So we're not feeling at home in ourselves. So we feel like I got to go do this. I got to go do this to go fix myself. Maybe if I go on this like retreat, or maybe I go scale this mountain with this Sherpa, or, maybe if I go, do this, not to say that all those things aren't healing, but sometimes we look to those things to heal for us instead of looking them as a tool to go along with the ways in which we heal ourselves. So we go on these far and wide journeys, kind of like with my YouTube channel and, basically the journey of my whole life, going and trying this, hoping that in this or in that, I'll find who I am. I'll find the real me. In this, I'll find the real me. And eventually you get to a place where you are finding you're finding the creator in everything. And you're like, well, it wasn't the scaling of the mountain per se. It wasn't the ayahuasca journey that I went on per se, but those things helps reconnect me to the creator and thus to myself back home. So after all those journeys and all those people that I've met and all that trying, we come back to the heart. So we come back home. And so I think actually thank you, Presley, a really nice message. And I have him outlined in gold because he's a very special kitty. And all those flowers that border that border the card are meant to be like a floral heart space portal. So those are my red and white roses that I grew in Spring Valley, and I still have them, but they're in dried form, and they're in my little apothecary that I have out in the other room. And then I wanted gold edging because I felt that gold, in the scientific and energetic sense, it's a conductor of energy. It helps, make those strong, quick connections. And so, I really like that. And I had also placed, I think this is the only card that doesn't have it because it is the final card, the geometry. So there is the triangle up, triangle down, and 2 circles. Those also, representative of completeness, representative of fire, and also representative of earth. And those are just like the elements that I really liked working with. And then on the back, my favorite stone, hemimorphite. Also love turquoise, but hemimorphite is the stone I took a picture of. That is my rose. And if you look really closely to it, there is the seed of life. So not the flower of life, but the seed of life is superimposed over the rose, because I felt instead of like the flower of life, which there's a feeling of completeness with it, I wanted the seed of life because it's like a journey. We're at the start of this journey. Nothing is quite complete yet. And so that was the thinking of it with Wally's World. And then, like I said, every picture in here was either given to me or a picture that I took on my own. And in that guidebook are all the names of the people that contributed and their write-up of why that place is special to them. So we got everywhere from Australia, the UK, different parts of the United States, China. there's places all over the world, hence Wally's World. So, okay. Let's see. Okay. Heather says, bittersweet, enjoyed it while I was there and sad, but happy to evolve. Yes. And Lila says, I had Tiger's Eye bracelet that broke in the middle of a checkout at a supermarket and dispersed all over the floor. A lady helped me gather all the beads. She was very kind. Ah, so connection. So the bracelet helped bring connection. It says the turquoise in that tray was really calling out to me. Dude, I love me some turquoise. Yes. Okay. So our herb of the week is garlic. Crystal of the week, blue tiger's eye. That card was basically the final card. We are returning home, and that is for me this week, but you might find that for yourselves this week too, that, maybe you're not fully like completing a chapter this week, but you might be able to see and make these connections, kind of like Costolini always, we're always finding synchronicity in one another, but, being able to like see like, wow, I used to see like those of you that do a daily card pull for yourself, you know, you're like, I used to see the daily card pull as, you know, something I just do. Or you might say it's my focus for the day, or it's something for me to meditate on for the day. And one day, maybe it's this week, you're doing your card pull and you realize you are the master of that destiny. You are the card pull. And so maybe even before you pull that card, an image pops into your mind, or you have this feeling and you realize it's like you're shuffling inside of your body. Like you are the card. You are the one to be reflected upon. You are the one to be meditated on, you know? So something to think about, how that connects to you this week. What has that journey home been like for you? And not to say journey home, like, whoop, that's the end of my journey, you know, all done. I did kittens, weights, and tarot, all done. Far from it. It's just the end of a journey, but not the whole journey, you know? So what has been an ending to one of your journeys, and how did that look? How did that feel? Is that occurring for you this week? So something to think about. One last card, because I did create 2 decks. This is Victorian flowers. Excuse me. These are not my flowers, but I found these flowers and I did a little clip art with them and I really liked it. And all these flowers have like layers over them of like stars and lace, just try to make that very Victorian, soft feel to them. Very gentle, and it has little meanings underneath of these, underneath each of the flowers. And each of these flowers were flowers that were used during the Victorian era. So these are Victorian flowers. And what the Victorians said the meanings were, you know, when they'd wear a little lavender on their lapel or a little peony, it was like saying something without saying something, you know? So that's what this deck is about. It's a very subtle, I'd say it's a very different energy than Wally's World. It's a very subtle, very gentle, like, okay, good to know, you know? So let's pull ourselves a quick card and then we'll get to our friend Janine, who is patiently waiting. And thank you so much, Janine. All right. Ooh, we have wisteria. Wisteria smells so divine. On the card, it says, a welcome stranger, future friendship. But for me, wisteria is this, I don't know, like wise, older, but not elderly, older sense of energy. Almost this higher perspective, and with its beautiful purple color connecting with the crown chakra, you know, all this divine knowledge falling in, I feel that it is a beautiful complement to that final card in the Wally's World. And by the way, I wanted 64 cards. 6 and 4 is 10. 1 plus 0 is 1, meaning that for an ending, which is a 10, coming back to a beginning, which is a 1. So it's coming back full circle. So that's why I chose 64 cards, was for the numerology of it. 10 becomes 1. An end is now a beginning, you know. And so with wisteria, I feel like with that end that is now this beautiful beginning, now we have this beautiful reflection that we can look back on. And what did I learn along the way? What worked? What didn't work? What did I learn about myself? What did I learn about the world around me? What did I learn about how my inner world is reflected in my outer world? You know, and it's this without ego type of perspective, at least for me with wisteria, is this, okay, I can look at everything objectively as if I was reading the story of a girl named Tara, you know, and what could I say about her? What could I say about her journey? And, you know, maybe just these past 10 years, maybe these past 5 years, maybe I want to take a look at the whole journey, you know, where she's been in, like, how old am I? 44 years. I'm like, wait, I don't even know my age. But I feel like wisteria is a really good flower for that energy, for that. And sure, yes, you know, like the Victorians say, there's a welcome stranger, future friendships. But that comes after some reflection, because we can't have strangers, basically newcomers in our life. We can't make new friendships if we're stuck in what was. And we don't come up to the present, and we're not willing to let go of certain beliefs or things, in our life, that we can't welcome in that newness. And Wisteria, I feel like, helps us out with that newness. Just, okay, I reflect. I know now, I'm in the present, and I welcome in the new strangers, the new friends, the new experiences, the new everything. And not to say that everything is going to be unicorns and rainbows, but I think, as I mentioned before, nothing grows without resistance. Like we need that in our lives. Yes, we need the ups and the love and the joys and, the elations and successes, but we need the downs too, because we learn so much in that. It's probably why partial the reason we come to earth is to feel that juxtaposition. There's so much in that, because if everything was love and light, how would we know even what darkness is? How would I know that it is love and light? Love would have to have a contrast, right? A light would have to have a contrast. So how would I know that it's light? How would I know that it's love if I didn't know that there was something else? So it's that something else that has us appreciate that love and light. Okay, so Janine, my friend, let's take a looky here. Yes, Lilith says both decks are available for purchase, and yes, they will be on the Savage Wild website as well, so you won't be missing out on Wally's World or the Victorian Flowers. Cass says, she just sent a PayPal as well. Excellent. So Cass will be after Janine. And Heather says, I'm going to head out. Loves to you all. Have a beautiful one. Need rest. All right. Have a beautiful rest of your day, my friend. Love you. Okay. So Janine says, I feel my life won't change until I move out of my father's home. What advice or signs you see how this may happen? Okay. Let's take a look scheme. Ooh, what deck do I want to use for that? Let's do the Sacred Medicine. I think that's going to be a lovely card for you. Everybody wishing Heather a good night. This is such a gorgeous deck as well. I mean, look at the backs. Beautimous. Okay. So Janine is feeling like if she doesn't move out of her father's home, perhaps things would not change. So let's see if we get anything on the spiritual radio or sometimes woo-woo TV. Okay. Okay. I don't know the name of this song. All I know, and I know it's a real song, I know it's not a SeaWorld song, but I used to go see Sea Lions Tonight at SeaWorld. I thought it was like the best thing at SeaWorld, because really the Sea Lions did run the show. If they didn't feel like the show, they would just have to stop the show. And they're like, okay, well, the Sea Lions just don't feel like it and we can't force them, So it was just, I don't know. I love the attitudes of the Sea Lions. It was great. But anyway, so there's this song. This is Move to the Left, Move to the Right. Everybody clap your hands. And do. Move to the left, move to the right. I'm like, what song is that? But yeah, all I remember is that everybody clap your hands. But anyway, that's such a fun sounding song. So I'm wondering how that is connecting to your question. So we'll pull a card then. Slide to the left. Now slide to the right. And everybody clap your hands. Ooh, Star Nations, ancestors. What a beautiful card. La Luna reflected in the lake or the creek. Lilith says, isn't that like Follow the Leader song? kind of, and I know it's like a real song. It's not a children's song. Like, but they only really played that part at SeaWorld. That's why that's the only part I know. But I know that I have heard the rest of it. I just don't remember the rest of it. So that's the only part that sticks with me, is the one that I know at SeaWorld. So let's dive into why that's coming in. Oh, okay. All right. So that's why that song was coming in. Okay. It was usually during that song, and I'll get why this correlates with your question. Lilith says, "Oh, cha-cha slide, Mr. C, the slide man." Yes. GJ Casper, cha-cha slide. Just Googled it. All right. So yes, Janine, the cha-cha slide. that sounds about right. So when I would go see these sea lions, to really the only time I wanted to go to Disneyland, or not Disneyland, SeaWorld. And so the humans and the sea lions, they would dance together. You know, the sea lions would have their flappers, and they would just go like, doo, 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 and they would like, you know, and then they go to clap their hands, and they kind of like, you know, have their flippers together. And sometimes the sea lions didn't want to participate in the song, so they would just stop. Or, you know, and it's, you know, the trainers aren't going to abuse the animals, so they can't force them to do anything. So they're like, okay, well, you know, they don't want to do it. So it's like everybody is in line. And I feel like that when we are growing up in our homes, regardless of like what our home lives were, that within this home, there is a definite structure to who we are and our personality. So, you know, under this roof, even if that roof has changed many times in our growing up, that the way our parents see us is sometimes the way that we see ourselves. And even though we are now adults, and it's still hard to break out of that mold, especially if you're still under that parent's roof, to be able to see who is Janine when she's hanging out with a tribe in Africa. Who is Janine when she's walking the cobblestone streets in Venice, Italy? Who is Janine when she is out in the middle of the desert trying to find north, south, east, and west? Who is, you know, so in all these situations that are so far removed from your home, now we're seeing ourselves differently. So, like some of these sea lions that decide, you know what? I don't feel like clapping my hands and doing the cha-cha right now. I don't feel like doing this same routine that they probably do night after night, that I don't feel like that anymore. But that's very hard to do when we're under this very similar roof, this very same roof. This is what we do. Everybody clap your hands. Now we're sliding to the left. Now we're sliding to the right. Now I make dinner. Now I go to bed. You know, now I have, you know, a talk with my dad, or, you know, now, you know, and it's, very routine, and there's nothing wrong in routine, but sometimes we do need a little change up every once in a while. And so with this card, the star nations and the ancestors, I do feel this pull for you to possibly, you know, to help give you some ideas of like, you might be going, well, where do I go then? You know, does this mean I should fully move out? This is like, I'm feeling a very, not a hard cut like like I felt when it was like, you're just quitting your job now and you're just going to a different state. I don't feel that hard cut for you, but more, it's time to go on an adventure. It doesn't need to be an expensive or pricey adventure. It could just be a road trip with some friends, but definitely time for adventure. And a hint, because our higher self never tells us what to do because we have free will, but just maybe a suggestion, a hint or suggestion, to possibly visit your ancestral places you've never been before. And this could be ancestors of your actual physical bloodline, or ancestors in the memories that you know you had, but perhaps didn't happen in this lifetime. So you might say, man, I've always felt really connected to Greece, but I know that my physical bloodline in this life is not Greek, but I feel this connection there. Then that is where you must go. So wherever you've been feeling this pull, even if it's the next town over, but it's something about this next town over, I feel like I should go there. And although I did mention, maybe take a road trip with friends, it kind of feels like a solo trip though. So not to say you can't have your friends with you, but ultimately this is a solo trip for you. This is something for you. So your friends could be there, but this is for you. This is for you to see yourself differently, for you to experience people differently outside of the people that know you, not just your dad, not just your family, but your friends, your community who knows you. So to give an example, I used to live in San Diego in California. And when I left for, actually, when I went to Ohio, I went for my grandmother's funeral. And Ohio was so different than San Diego. My cousins, I got to meet cousins I'd never met before, who I didn't know I had blonde cousins. I was like, wow, like cool. They're looking at me. They're like, wow, you're so tan. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you have the most beautiful blue eyes. It was like, uh, my friends weren't there. My hometown wasn't there. Yes, some of my family members are there, but these are new people, new family that I hadn't met before. They didn't grow up with me. They don't know me. So there was no expectation. So I actually got to be different. It wasn't intentional. I didn't decide, oh, I get to be a different Tara now because I'm in Defiance, Ohio, and I'm hanging out with my cousins. It just evolved naturally. I just allowed myself to experience things differently because there was no expectation from my cousins. There was no expectation from these great aunts and great uncles whom I didn't grow up with. There was no expectation from the people in that community because they didn't know me. So that's kind of what I'm feeling for you, is to not only go to a place that you've felt a call to, and again, it doesn't have to be rich and fancy, just a place that you've been feeling a call to, whether it's your blood lineage or your energetic lineage, and allow yourself to be seen without condition, without expectation, and therefore you have no expectation. And in that is where you find yourself different. You find a different version of yourself, that there are different talents that you didn't know that you had. And when you can witness yourself differently, you put yourself in a different energy, and thus different opportunities present themselves. And although, spirit creation is not going to hand them to you and say, here, Janine, you must do this now. It will be presented there for you so that with your own free will, you can decide, I'm ready for this or I'm not ready for this. And it's okay either way, but at least you know that when I get out of this zone where everybody knows who I am and I know who I am within these people who know who I am, then when I'm out of that, I feel different. I know that I can make these opportunities appear because I'm not who I'm expected to be when I'm in the place of comfortability. So I hope that makes sense. But yeah, I'm really feeling the call to maybe some ancestral places, even if it's just the next town over. Maybe it's Glastonbury Tor or Stonehenge or Red Rock, or I don't know. There's all these wonderful places. Doesn't even have to be one that like a spiritual place that everybody knows about, but just one that you feel a call to. You might be driving along and you're like, dude, that tree over there, I must stop. And I'm in this city. I don't really know who these people are, but that's a good thing. The more you can get out of your comfort zone, the better. So yeah, the message is, it doesn't mean that you need to just, bail out of your dad's house right now, but definitely offer yourself some new experiences where nobody knows you and you don't know them, and allow yourself to see yourself differently. And in that, I feel like then you understand what to do moving forward. But that would be really hard right now as things are. If I were to say, hey, Janine, I think you should, I don't know, I'm trying to make up a place. I need you to go to Tasmania. You'd be like, what? Why? But when you experience the kind of fish out of water feeling for yourself, then you'll understand what to do next and why that needs to be done. So again, hope that helps. Thank you. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. And now I feel like I'm going to have to listen to that song. Everybody clap your hands. All right. So our friend Kath, I believe, also would like a reading. And Kath said, just sent to PayPal. I would love to connect with my Auntie Dana if she would have any messages for me, especially in relation to Peter and ongoing court stuff. Okay. So Auntie Dana, let's tap into her. And what deck would I use for connecting with her? Wally's World. All right, we'll do that then. Chapstick. Okay, and a little bit more tea. It's cold tea, but that's cool. Mm-hmm. Janine, you are very welcome. Lilith says, can I ask great questions when we touch base? Yes, you sure can. Okay. All right. Auntie Dana. Kath is looking for a little message from you. And if you have anything to express to her about the ongoing court issues and anything about Peter. Okay, so Kath, I wasn't hearing like any music, but I was seeing, and this is a movie I haven't seen, but I remember this in the commercials, like the previews, and it was for the movie American Beauty. And it's where the girl, she's like leaning back and like, I think she opens her shirt, but it's like all these roses pour forth and it's just like flowing flowers. I'm like getting hit in the face with like all these like flowers and roses. And it's just like, I don't know, exploding from the heart space, all these roses. See if I see anything else, feel anything else. Okay. So your auntie is actually going with that image from American Beauty. And it's like she's trying to show you like you are the one exploding with roses. And it's like you try to cover it up though. So almost like, like I got my hat on, I got my trench coat on, I got like my pants on, and it's like I'm like bursting with all of this love, all of this creativity, all of this like wanting connection, all of this like just wanting to be vulnerable, wanting to put myself out there. But I have all these layers on, I have all this armor on, and I'm protecting. I feel like I'm trying to protect all of that, trying to protect my connections, trying to protect my vulnerability. And it says, even though she thinks she does her best, the flowers leak out anyway. They come out the bottom of the coat. They're like falling out of the hat that you're wearing, that you can't help it. And she's saying that's not a curse. She says sometimes you feel like how somehow there's something wrong with you, that it's like, every time I put myself out there and I'm like really vulnerable, so people find a way to hurt me. And she's saying, but that's one point of view. What about all the other times you've exploded on all those flowers? Basically, you've put yourself out there, you've connected with somebody, and it's actually turned out really well. She says that the ego would have us only remember the times that we were hurt, but it doesn't want us to remember all the times that we were helped, all the times we felt a really strong connection, if only for 5 minutes. It doesn't want us to remember that, because in going that direction, it's the unknown, and that can be very scary. She says, but there's nothing wrong in connection. There's nothing wrong in being vulnerable and putting yourself out there. She says, yes, is there a chance that you could be hurt? Is there a chance that somebody could try to use that to their malicious advantage? Of course. But that also means that the opposite is also true, an equal opposite. That there's somebody who wants to be able to help you with that. That's somebody who's been waiting for someone to be vulnerable because they are also too scared to be vulnerable. And so you are their light in their story. And so when you think that, oh man, I shouldn't have said so much, or I shouldn't have, I should have known about that person, she says, you're just leaking all of these roses. It's because deep down your soul knows that you were meant to make all of these connections so that you could learn boundaries, so that you could learn to suss out people earlier rather than later, so that you could understand connection when people try to make false connections and when people are trying to make a genuine connection. But we won't know that unless we meet these people. And she says that's part of what's going on in this court process right now. And she says, and even in this, even when we feel like our life is being laid out there and we feel very vulnerable, she said, try to use this as an opportunity to let the real you, your light, your truth, your authenticity to come through. It may sound counterintuitive, but it's really going to help in this situation. She says, not to say like you're an American beauty, but she says you're a beauty. So that's how she sees you, is you're that girl who's just exploding in flowers wherever she goes. And we have no control over what people do with those flowers. After we've spread our petals and everything far and wide, we have no control what they do with it. But we definitely put the opportunity out there for people to do some good with it. But if we keep it to ourselves, we deny them that opportunity. Let's see. Let's go back here. So let me just pull a card as well to go along with it. Like I said, I have my Wally's World. Oh my gosh. And it's card 44. I like the 44. Actually, this is a picture that was taken by my friends Tone and Tamika. And this was the jellyfish that they saw with their boys when they were at there's an aquarium, I think like a big aquarium out in the valley. And that was one of the pictures they took. And I remember both Tony and Tamika were saying that something so, like they said, when you're looking through the glass, there's no sound. It's just this silent, gentle, flowing jellyfish. It looks so ethereal. It looks like it's an easy pushover, like you could just stomp on it, you could just hurt it. But little do people know that it has quite the sting and these beautiful tendrils that come off of it. Like that, the jellyfish knows its boundaries and it enforces those boundaries. And so I feel like this connects to that message that your auntie was showing about this like movie American Beauty and all of these roses, pouring forth out of you. But it's like you are the jellyfish. You can be both beautiful and delicate and gentle. You don't have to be loud about it, but you have some definite boundaries. And the jellyfish doesn't stop being a jellyfish just because there are other predators in the sea. It continues to be its beautiful, graceful self, but it also knows when to when to sting. So you are very welcome, my friend. um, let's see. Costalini, sure. Let's pull you a card. Costalini said, nothing malicious. I just think he likes to mess with me for the LOLs. I was hoping you can connect to my mom's father. He died about 11 years ago, but I wanted to ask if he messes with the electronics in my life, specifically my car and computer. Interesting you say that. We were talking about a gentleman spirit that likes to hang out here along with all the other spirits that walk through this place. Lilith is like, I feel you, girl. Cass. Okay, so let's tap into your mom's dad. So your grandfather. What deck? I'm feeling a cheeky energy from him because I was like, what deck do I want to use? And immediately I was drawn to the Desert Illuminations because it's a beautiful deck, but it's kind of funny with its aliens and whatnot that it's got in here because it's the desert, Okay, so he was like, pick the one with aliens. I'm like, okay. Oh, look, and there was an alien card at the bottom. Nice. All right. So let's tap in. Oh, okay. All right. So he was showing me there are these reels that I like looking on the Instagrams, and it's always like, it's always good music playing. But it's like a guy, he's dressed up like Jesus and he's always in this like car or whatever. And there are like, what happens when Jesus takes the wheel? And basically he's like, drifting, doing power slides, doing donuts, just like being super badass in this like car. And so your mom's dad was like showing me that, but he's like, replace the guy who's dressed up as Jesus with Costalini. Basically, he's and it's not so much like how he's saying; it's more he's showing. So I'm just like interpreting what he's showing, and it's like he's standing behind you, and he's got his hand on your shoulder, and he had decided that kind of the journey that he was on and everything that he was meant to learn on Earth. That he did what he came here to do. And he says, and what people are here to do now is different than what his mission was to do here. And so it's not that he envies you, but he is very curious on how you, with your soul inside this earth suit that you're wearing, how you're navigating these waters, like all the things that you're learning, all the growth that you have, all of your ups, all of your downs, all of like the questioning, am I on the right path? Like, is this supposed to be happening right now? Like, he finds it all very fascinating. And so he says, I'm letting basically you, Costalini, take the wheel and letting you do all the power slides and the donuts and going crazy in your badass vehicle. And he's like, I like it. He says, I like that you have this I'm going to say juxtaposition, but this like, I don't know, this duality about you where he says he won't let on to it, as in you. He can be terrified at times on kind of what's going on, what to do, move forward. He says, but he doesn't always let that on. He says, and then there's this other part of him that is enjoying like every minute of this ride. And he says, and that's what I love about him. He says, he's both of these halves. He's both terrified yet thrilled at the exact same time. And he says, and that is something I would not be able to balance right now if I still were alive at this time. He says, so I'm living vicariously through him. And do I mess with electronics from time to time to get him out of his headspace? Because sometimes he spirals down and he gets too far into a thought and sometimes takes things more seriously than they need to be. Yes, I do. Okay. Let's, Costolini's like, aw. So let's pull a card for that. It says, but ding, there's the answer. Okay. Of course. So you have the Judgment card. And I think that's why he wanted this deck, is because it has the aliens and it does have things like aliens abducting cows. So I think he specifically wanted this card to be pulled. Okay, but I'll ask about it. Okay. It says he was like a typical 1950s dad. Well, probably would like this deck because the artwork is supposed to be based off like the 50s and the 60s. So, I mean, probably why he wanted the deck as well as the aliens. Okay. I'm trying. How do I put this? I'm trying not to mess up my words. So I'm trying to express what I see. So he's like, for all of us who have already passed away, he says, whether we passed away last week, last month, 10, 11 years ago, he says, we were all aiding in the building up to where you are right now. So he says, quite literally, when people speak of their ancestors and they say, your ancestors are rooting for you, that's true. He says, like, that's very true. Because we knew that we had very particular missions, and that became very clear to us, of course, when we crossed over. We're like, oh, that's why I did that. Oh, okay. So it was like this big, like, aha, once you die. But he was like, he says, but once we crossed over, we never felt like we were bad in any way, like unworthy, meaning, we didn't feel like, oh, well, I passed away before this happened. Therefore, like, maybe I wasn't cut out for that thing that was happening on earth. He says, no, quite the opposite. Like, we all work together, literally. He says, every being that's ever been a being, he says, on planet Earth, in the universe, anybody who's ever held a body, it doesn't matter if it was a four-legged body, a feathery body, or a human body, they've all held these bodies. And he says they were all contributing to what was needed for the growth of the next generation and the generation after that and the generation after that. And he says, and now you've come to the time where, he says, in your world, things look crazy. He says, but it's only because the big change is coming. And he says, and how awesome is it that you get to be there when it happens? He goes, everybody. He says, the people that you know right now in your life, he goes, that are going to be there a while. He says, you're all there to witness something amazing. And he says, and don't worry, we're not left out, because we see everything through your eyes. So it's like we get to experience it too. So he's like, even though I don't have a physical body, and many of the people that care about you don't have physical bodies, but we see everything through your eyes. And so he says, so as you witness it, the terror, the humor, the things that are downright scary, but at the same time thrilling, he says, we get to feel that, we get to witness it, and we are so grateful. He says, thank you so much. And he says, and I am having a lot of time with you at the wheel, both metaphorically and literally. And he says, but you are just one of many that are there for the big change when it happens. And he says, and we'll be there for it too. So don't worry about it. I think I got that right. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look. Lilith says, basically telling Costolini to abduct a cow. Don't abduct a cow. Costolini says, that's such a great message. Thank you. And Lilith said, wowie. Yeah, I think, wow. Thank you to all the energies that are coming through. So thank you. It says, I think we're gonna do a 20-minute with him eventually. All right. I mean, he's an interesting energy. He's got a cheeky sense of humor, I will say. Not like an all-out comedian, but like undercover comedian. Definitely a cool energy, and especially for the alien deck. Thank you, Grandpa. Good pick, my friend. He said, just one last thing before he hops out. He says, Costolini is very concerned about the food that he eats, so I thought it would be funny about an alien abducting a cow, since he's always curious about the beef that he eats. And I was like, you mean like alien beef? He's like, I'm just saying. Okay. Costolini's like, dot, 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 dot. Okay, so this is from a local farm. It says, I'm literally about to cook a steak. Lilith is like, abduct the cow. Wow. So that's why he wanted that, just to kind of drive home the message. Like, he's very concerned about the beef that he eats. Oh, yes. And by the way, he's making a steak right now. Wow. Go, Grandpa. Nice. All right. So Lilith, you said we would do your reading when we meet up after this live chat. So cool beans. All right. So is there anybody else that would like the final 1-card readings for Kittens, Weights, and Tarot? Before we get into our guided meditation, which I'm going to have garlic help us out with that. And for that, I might actually run to the refrigerator and go get the garlic, just so I can smell it, so I can be in its essence, even though it's minced garlic from Costco. And, and just get into that meditative state with that. So, okay. One last thing then before we dive into that meditation, because I feel like we're ending a chapter. I didn't think I would. I had no expectation. I didn't know how I was going to feel, but I feel super duper excited, because it's like, I can't wait. Like I said, it's like there's this gift. I've wrapped it up really pretty with the help of Lilith. And I can't wait for you guys to open the present. Basically, I can't wait for you to see the website. I can't wait for you to see everything, for just everything that's like been inside, just vibrating. Like, I can't wait for it to, come out. So I feel really excited about that. I don't feel scared at all. I know it's a new adventure. There's no fear I have. But I feel this like nostalgia, I guess. It's not a sadness. It's like a nostalgia with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, because literally it's what I've done for 10 years. When I first started it, I was still teaching. And so I always would just say like my first name online, and everything I did, I never put my last name. And the reason being was not because I was trying to hide from people. Actually, I was trying to hide from my students. I didn't want my, I always tried to keep my private life private. Anything I did, even if it was working out at the gym, like I would try to make sure I went to a gym that I knew my students wouldn't go to, because I never wanted them to see me in the wild, so like when I started Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, I was very mysterious about like where I lived, what I did for a living, but at the same time, it was like this adventure, like, not just reading tarot cards, but it was, I don't know, getting more comfortable with my intuition and just being weirdo me. Like I can't not be a weirdo, kind of like with Kath's reading, with her auntie. And the auntie was showing like flowers just like exploding out of her chest. Like she is just this beautiful person who like explodes beauty wherever she goes. For me, it was like, it's like I can't not be a weirdo. I try my best to like play the straight person or whatever, like in comedy. But like it just wasn't me. Like when I was teaching, I would wear a suit every day, like freaking high heels. My hair was back in a bun. I would always try to look like no nonsense. I was very, I wasn't hard on my students, but I would push them. I had very clear boundaries in my classroom, and it was so hard for me to maintain that for like 6 hours a day, because it's not my personality. Like, yes, honey, yes. um, but and all the pieces of me would be in my classroom. Like I'd have stuff for weightlifting. I'd have pictures of kitty cats and stuff like that. It was just like my outlet was Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, where I felt like I could practice being more of me in front of the internet, where it's like I could say dumb things, and it's like, what does it matter? Like at the time, only 5 people are watching me anyway. only the 5 people that I know in my life are subscribed to my channel. And so I got more comfortable just being me, and then it became this nice break for, I'm a teacher and this like freaking hard ass coach when, during the day, but then on the weekends, because I did Saturday live chat. Sometimes it was Friday, but most of the time it was Saturday at noon. That's mostly when I did my live chats. So Saturday at noon, it was like I finally just got to be me. I got to dress the way I want to dress, do my hair the way I want to do my hair, have my stuffies with me if I want to have my stuffies, have my kitty cats riding on my shoulders if they wanted to ride on my shoulders. I got to just be 100% me. And yes, we pulled cards, and yes, we had all these fun topics, but it was like I got to just express myself. And so I'm grateful that in this 10-year journey on Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, it was a huge part of my journey in reclaiming me, being okay with being me, because I was in many settings where I felt like I couldn't be me. But I realized that was my own limitation. I can always be me, no matter what the setting is. Doesn't mean I need to change to conform to this person or that person or this, that I can always be me wherever I go. And I learned that through this channel, through Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, that I didn't have to be the conformist, because I would feel like, oh, well, when I teach, I have to be this way. It's like, really? Who says? I must have made up that rule myself, So, or like when I'm hanging out with my family, I must be this way. Oh, really? Sounds like a self-imposed limitation. So thank you for helping me bring out my authentic self. And because of that, that's why we have the Savage Wild beginning. If I never reclaimed my authenticity, if I never felt safe, powerful in my own skin, I wouldn't have the gumption to do something like this. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And on that, I think I just want to pull one card from the Earth Power Oracle, and then we'll get to that meditation. Costalini says the Costco minced garlic is going on the beef. Dude. The synchronicities. Well, I'm about to go get my jar for this meditation. Melissa's sound of the garlic, Tara in the background munching garlic cloves. Yeah, don't mind me. Focus on the meditation. This is of the meditation. I meant, yeah. It says, you've come a long way, onto bigger and broader horizons. Yes, a continuation and some interesting new horizons. And I'm ready. I'm ready for it. I hope y'all are ready for it because I'm ready to share it with you. Okay, so from the Earth Power Oracle, okay, well, there's our card. Guess I didn't need to shuffle too far on that. Okay, we have the Nahadra temples. It says, I am fertile and flowful. I release all stagnation and depression. I move and choose gracefully. I am spiraling outwards, full of growth and love. Oh my gosh, the exploding flowers. Kath, I think your aunt never left. Let's do a quick read from the guidebook, just where that is, because I am not familiar with that place. Okay, 68. Where in the world is the Nahadra temples? Okay. Location, Malta. GPS coordinates 35 degrees by 49, 36 north, 14 degrees, 26, 11 east. Okay. Anyway. Tucked away in a hollow on dramatic cliffs on Malta's southern coastline are the three Nahadra temples, facing the ocean and the wild island of Fifla. These mysterious temples, with their pitted texture, have a construction date as early as 3600 BC. Wow. When you visit, for modern pagans, this is a place where many come on a pilgrimage to honor the feminine divine or goddess energy. The energy here is distinctively strong and feminine. Just 500 meters away is Hagar Kim, a complex temple where a beautiful statuette nicknamed the Fat Lady was found, confirming the existence of a female fertility cult. Bring flowers and honor the feminine energy within you, whether you are male or female. Look out at the sea and connect with that energy of unlimited flow and ask for the same to come into your own life. You know, it's interesting, as I was randomly thinking of Malta for like the past couple of days. And also, I think Malta has been in the news, but I can't remember for what reason. But yeah, Malta's been coming up a lot. So perhaps something to meditate on. But I definitely feel that, you know, that flow of feminine energy. I mean, although I feel like this new adventure that we're going to be on with the Savage Garden, you might be like, well, it's just a YouTube channel name and it's just a website change. But for me, it's a piece of me change, you know, going out there. And it's not, I would say, something drastically different. It is me. It's just a different piece of me. and I feel like it's a good balance of feminine and masculine, where feminine was the creative driving force and the masculine is now implementing it into our 3D reality. So thank you to both energies. All right. So on that note, let me go get my garlic, my Costco minced garlic, and let's do this meditation. Okay. Lilith says volcano activity. That's where I've been hearing that. There's, by the way, it's not just there, it's all over the world. The ring of fire is going off. Like literally all the volcanoes are getting antsy. Okay. Which probably means it's just a reflection of what's going on inside of us. Okay. Let me go get that garlic. Oh, hello, Vader. Okay. All right. Here we are. Kirkland minced garlic. We're going to need a smell on this. I feel like I want to just dip a spoon in here and just start eating. Oh my gosh. I freaking love the smell of garlic. Okay. Okay. Good stuff. All right. Now that I've taken my hit of garlic, let's dive into the meditation. Costalini said also, yes, I just did that. Oh my God. Just, yes. Side note, sometimes I do take a spoon and I just have myself a little spoonful of garlic. Some of you guys are probably like, garlic. Ain't no vampires gonna be biting me anytime soon. This is the big sniff. Yes. Okay. Some tea. I'll have us, I'll point the camera this way so you guys can see the garlic as we meditate on it. Okay. So, T, you are going to have to move over yonder. And Kirkland garlic, you are going to go there, my friend. All right. Coming in. You're coming in hot. All right. You know what? Maybe I can bring these legs down. How about that? Give you guys a more profesh point of view here. Ayo. Yeah. That looks good. Okay, my tea there. All right. I'm feeling the drum. I was kind of feeling the drum ever since I did my powwow dancing. So we're bringing out the drum. Also, garlic is kind of feeling the drum. So let's do it. Ooh, maybe we'll put our tiger's eye on top. Here we go. All righty. Lilith said garlic tea. You know, I might just try that. And it might just make me want to start eating Italian food, but we'll see. All right, you guys, go ahead and find yourselves a nice, comfortable space, a place you will be undisturbed for the next several minutes. You could be lying in your bed, sitting in a chair, seated on the floor. Maybe you are laying underneath your favorite tree. But find a place that is comfortable for you. And as you get yourself nice and situated, bring your awareness back to your breath. Just feeling the rise and fall of the chest. If you'd like, place one hand over your heart and the other over your belly. Just feel the expansion of the rib cage, the expansion of the abdomen. And as you exhale, feeling the contraction of your stomach, the contraction of the lungs, of the ribs as we release. Because receiving and release are a natural part of life, just as it is natural in our own rhythmic breathing. We allow in and we release. We receive and we let go. And whenever we feel too scared to release that breath, too scared to breathe in, we are just reminded in this exercise that our body does it naturally. It shows us every millisecond of every day what should come natural. Receive and release. Receive and release. And as you continue in this breath, imagine the personification of garlic stands before you. What does this personification look like? Is it the smell of garlic? Is it a color? Is it a flower? Is it a sound? Is it a song? Does it remind you of a movie or a TV show? Allow this personification to unfold. And as garlic surrounds you in its essence, allow it to show you healing. What causes our blood pressure, so to speak, to rise? What causes a disturbance in our gut? Sometimes when something doesn't feel right, the first place we feel it is right there in our stomach. Allow garlic to show you what that is. We might fear the repercussions of having our boundaries, being authentically who we are. Allow garlic to help you with this. Garlic can't help being garlic. You can smell it a mile away. It could only be itself. Whether you love it or you hate it, it doesn't matter to garlic. It knows that it can only be itself. It can't be any other plant, any other herb, and it wouldn't want to be. So go ahead and allow yourself to converse with garlic. Okay, go ahead and bring your awareness back into the body. Perhaps even wiggling those fingers and toes. And having yourself a nice big stretch. All right. Thank you so much for joining me in this chat. I hope you guys had fun today. Thank you for everybody who allowed me to read for them. And thank you for being with me in this final chat of Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. I'll see you guys next Sunday as the Savage Wild. And you guys be my wildlings. But thank you for everything. Thank you for being your amazeball self. And thank you to Garlic for helping us out. I'm going to go huff some more of that later and maybe have a spoonful. Yes, I might have to. Anywho, thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed the powwow dancing today. I hope you give it a try wherever you are. Just some of those steps, very simple steps, and then you can add your own flow and groove into it. Really, you're just reconnecting as that beautiful conduit between heaven and earth. So hope you enjoyed that. And Costalini says, thanks, Wild Child. Thank you, Wildlings. And I will catch you guys next Sunday, all right? So go be wild. Go have fun. Connect to Garlic this week. Maybe meditate on the cards that were pulled this week. And hey, maybe even see if maybe a tiger's eye, maybe specifically blue tiger's eye, will be helpful in grounding this week. And with sometimes there's so much going on that it's hard to keep focus, but I think tiger's eye will come in handy for that. So thank you so much. Thank you, Kath. Thank you, guys. Thank you, moderators. Stay wild, my friends. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out. Bye.